Hi chat. Welcome in everyone. How we doing tonight? I still got my kettle heating up. Sorry, that's making some noise over there. And so, yeah. Fish stew night. Gonna be doing tomato. I'm gonna throw some cauliflower in there since I have cauliflower, and potato soup with a little bit of wine. I'll finish the wine with the rest of it. And then it was brought up in chat the other day, the idea of a Spanish tortilla, or another way of cooking potatoes that I have not done recently. And so I'm going to give that a shot tonight. Where are you, water? Why aren't you hot yet? You still need another 20 degrees. Yay. So I've been just doing my normal stuff. I can't really, I sat down mid-afternoon, wanted to write something in Discord, just to give an update on what I've been doing, because I hadn't said anything lately, and yeah, I'm just doing stuff around home. Let's see what this looks like if we mirror this image. Nah, that ain't it either. I actually spent $3 on fish stock, chat, which I don't recommend. It's not worth it. Like, I couldn't find bones quickly, like there are no fishmongers here. I used to get that all the time at the farmers markets too, because I used to sell stock at the farmers markets, and I would get people asking me to make seafood stock, and nothing about my operation was seafood. There were no good sources for seafood. Like, it wasn't like bones. There's actual companies breaking down animals that I can sit there and talk to at the farmers markets. The seafood people, like, they don't have anything. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Cheers. Hi, Cosmic. I used some of my activated charcoal the other day. I decided I'm trying sort of a Hail Mary here with my orchid. It's not enjoying the situation right now. And I have added a bunch of water. I added a bunch of water with the activated charcoal, which is pretty much not going to do much other than it's really good at being absorbent and sort of anti-fungal or anything else that could be going on in the soil. And so I threw a bunch of charcoal in with the water, made sure the water was a proper pH, and then added a bunch of coffee grounds, which probably messed up the pH, but quite possibly could add a bunch of nitrogen, which was the only other thing that, I mean, short of having to repot the whole thing again, I don't know what to do with it. This one in back here seems to be sort of cruising. And, yeah, my other 2 plants, yeah. The one in my bedroom I should just probably give up on. And, this one over here needs a heavy trim that I haven't got to it in a while. So where do we start with things tonight? I think probably taters and onions. We'll start with the tortilla. Hey, JK. Welcome in. Well, that was completely wrong for what I wanted to do to that onion. I guess this is going to be my onion for the soup now. Nice. Yes, relaxation time. I'm going to be enjoying a Riesling tonight because I've had it here in my fridge for a minute. At least I think it's a Riesling. No, it's a Gewürztraminer. It'll still work. So we'll save that for the soup now. Oh, hey. It would have been nice if I had shown chat dicing there, huh? I keep doing that after going to full screen for coffee. Made good coding progress. We're getting there. My entirely self-controlled sprinkles bot is getting closer. Like, I'm still facing an onslaught of errors and fix this and fix that and format that and format this. But some things are working. Okay, we're not cutting this onion in half. Better sized onion for this project anyways. Taters. Hi chat, close-up time. How you doing tonight? What's happening? How's your Sunday been? Had a good weekend? I hope so. I hope that's a good potato. It's not looking like it. That one's looking okay. That actually looks almost ideal baked potato territory for me there. This, I don't know what happened to that poor thing. Ugh. I know this thing is designed to go in from this direction. I just did that last one from the other direction. It works almost the same in either direction for me, regardless of the design. I've had this peeler for a very long time, and I don't really like it, but it somehow remained in my stash of... It's just got such a horrible clearance. It's just... at the same time, I'm not a fan, like, when I was in college, like, pretty much everyone that was buying peelers and was interested in peelers wanted those pull peelers. I've never been a big fan of those. I've always more wanted something along this line. Just with better blade clearance and... It doesn't clear very easily either if you... And I actually just steeled this blade the other day. I didn't sharpen it, but I did steel it. Or leather it. Oh, we're doing onion first. And that's a bit... It's a bit chonky. I'll take it. Except I gotta go this way with it. Do I want to do halves in that direction? Let's do halves in this direction. I guess I gotta cut it in half anyways, chat. I'm debating how I want to do this still, chat. Like, I've read and know how it's traditionally done, in that you're essentially sauteing these and cooking these together in a pan and then pulling them out and putting them back in with the egg mixture. I've read that in multiple places. I'm just not a fan. I just don't think that's gonna... I guess we're making a Chef JT omelet tonight, because I'm not going to. We're going to do things a little different. That'll work. 350. Do I want to keep these separate now that I'm doing this differently? For the F1 fans, we're thinking differently. Even though I don't really follow F1 anymore, I really don't. It did come across my feeds and stuff, the jokes with Verstappen. I think it's a good thickness. I've seen them thicker. So I'm going to start with a sheet pan over here with parchment, and we're going to somewhat spread our onions out here. Got the oven at 350, so it's not blasting hot. I'm not going to be roasting these. I'm not looking to get a ton of color on them. I'm looking to cook them through. And same thing with these. I think this way we'll have a much better chance at keeping our slices whole slices. And I'll even be able to stack the pan a little bit the way I want to. And these are obviously going to be overlapping on the potatoes, but they're pretty thinly sliced, so I'm more worried about keeping them sort of an even height so that they evenly cook overall. And to that, olive oil. Lots of olive oil. Let's coat our keyboard in olive oil, chat. I could get the bottle out and drizzle it over this, but it was more fun. It's like using a squirt gun to oil your food. Salt. More salt. The other salt. Pepper. Paprika. And that will go in the oven once the oven's hot. So that's the start to our tortilla. It's not very tortilla-like, is it, chat? That doesn't remind me of any other tortilla I know of. I sort of wonder if the Spanish heard of the whole American taco thing and then created this dish to make sure that there was no, correlation between Spain and Mexico. Okay. Tomato. Let's dice up some tomato. It's probably not... Yeah. It's going in soup though, so... Or stew. guy at the cash register at the supermarket checking me out remarked that that's one heck of a tomato. I'm sort of like, yeah, you don't grow tomatoes, do you, dude? Like, that's an impressive tomato, but that ain't anything special. It's just maybe above average. And that said, it very well could be, and very likely is, just pumped with water and doesn't have any flavor versus a dry farm tomato. How are you still? Oh, you're still fine. You're fine. That's all junk. Gonna go ahead and get the potatoes and onions in the oven, since that's now up to 350. I think I'm gonna give those 25 minutes. I didn't include there's garlic in this, in the dinner command tonight. Oopsies. I'm loosely following a recipe tonight, by the way, chat. I'm altering it, though, too. Because when do I ever state a plan with recipes? I take that back. I state a plan if I want to know how something works out, but so I think we're all set. Other than taters and cauliflower, which will be a little bit later along. So we're gonna get started with some cooking on the stove. Making me self-conscious if my hood is clean. Like, that reflection is so clear tonight on the bottom of that pan. Like, you could probably tell from it. Welcome in, Cognivations. You have to type !scramble to join into the scramble each round. I sort of hacked it together. I'm working on a new hack together one here that will be around shortly that you don't have to type !scramble for, but it's not here yet. I'm also going to be honest and think that that isn't the word because it isn't really foodie. There are some words that aren't foodie, though. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, maybe we should throw some olive oil in here with the olive oil soup, huh? Let's just spray some in there. I don't feel like getting the bottle out. There's the real answer, chat. I don't feel like getting the bottle out to do this. I'm going with our onions. Can't wait for new stuff. Can't wait. You doing okay over there, onions? You having a good time? We are or were in the middle of an ad here, and that's why I was doing a little dish cleaning. Yeah, we got another minute to go on that. We'll go ahead and add our garlic in with those onions. Hi there, Derek. I'm going to start adding our tomatoes. Or tomato. I don't know, is it plural now that we've cut it? Like, this is more than a can of tomatoes. I hit those onions pretty good with salt, so I'm not going to give it more now with the tomatoes. We can give it some pepper though, because we're done with the searing temp time. Now we're just going to be mostly boiling. But we are going to cook this until it gets to the point that we want to remove most of the moisture here. We want this to be pretty dry before we add our own liquids in there. So that way that flavor is concentrated from the onions, garlic, and tomato. And then we're adding more flavor in there. We're not diluting it. Why is that muted? I guess it doesn't matter, there's nothing really coming across on it, but it's a bit muted just in case I did that for a reason. Take a quick glance here over at the Discord while we're waiting on things to cook. Looking like chipped beef is gonna get it. Tonight and tomorrow is the last day to vote. But if you want me to have to cook with hazelnuts as part of my dinner on Wednesday, it's time to rally the troops. Boil. Boil. Get rid of that liquid. This whole new chat GPT search thing, where, it's essentially, like, it's just reinforcing my same mentality. Like, these LLMs are not, like, on one hand, they're incredibly useful, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, they aren't some amazing new technology. They're what search should have been 5 years ago. Instead, they're turning into corporate America way of capitalistic way of monetizing search. Is it showing that I canceled my ChatGPT subscription today? And even though we're already to the point where they're calling it AI, it's not AI. It doesn't think itself, it just copies everyone else. It's like TikTok. So, we've got some vino tonight. This is not a pricey bottle. It does seem to have a cork to it, though. How so? What thinking is that doing? What intelligence? Like, my breaking point is that it is making its own decisions and not just, oh, the sensor sees something, I open. Like, when we transition from these LLMs creating photos that are really just like intricate collages, and instead actually creates the art with a knowledge behind what it's creating, it's not having no clue why fingers are in the direction they are, that it knows and understands that. That to me is AI. Oh, I was supposed to keep the cork up. Keep my corks. Is that still savable? Yeah. I'm almost full. My paint can's almost full, chat. I started this on stream. It needs to be cleaned, but okay, we're getting close here. You can see the edges of that. The bubbles are getting smaller and smaller here. Half cup of vino. And even though I'm not really worried about it with wine, not directly from the bottle. Never good to put alcohol direct from the bottle, unless you want to live the experience of seeing what a Molotov cocktail is like in real life. Nice color. I've had this in the refrigerator for a minute, so it is definitely chilled. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute so it warms up a little bit closer to drinking temp. And then fish stock. While you're looking at my lovely drink, my apologies. So we got fish stock, we got wine in there. We got our tomatoes, onions, and garlic. We're gonna dial up the fishiness even a touch more tonight. Add, that was teaspoonish. Bit of fish sauce in there. I didn't set a timer for my taters, so let's take a look at those. We're pretty close there. I think I just about nailed those. Just a little under, but sitting here, they might carry over that little bit. And even still, we gotta cook them a slight bit more. I told you, it's sentient, chat. You know, it sees me pouring booze. I'll show you another thing that's happened since I've started going to Costco. Like, this bottle, which I don't know if you can tell the size is a little bit, this is not a fifth, was less than this bottle. Those are $26 taxes, but, you know, sticker price, $26 bottle of Woodford Reserve. And it's, is it a whole liter? 1.75 liter. This is still probably a little chilly, but I'm thirsty. Cheers, chat. Lovely green fruit on the nose. It's smelling sweet. Yeah, that's nice. Not much minerality to it. Those who've been watching me wine back in a while know that I love minerality in my whites. I love my French whites with all sorts of that in there. There's not much of that here, but this is still tasty. There's probably all sorts of chemicals in this, though, because it's... Okay, now we got stuff to do again. We gotta cut up our taters and cauliflower for our soup. Hi, chat. How you doing? That's a small one. Let's use... That's another not huge one. Where's all the big boys? I thought this bag was nothing but big boys. That's a little bit better. Catch up, camera. More peeling. Tonight's an appealing stream. Ah, wrong direction. Smelling good in here tonight, chat. Smelling good. Even with all the fishiness on this stove. Like, not really getting any of that right now. Gonna go ahead and add our potato to the soup. Which will cool it down. I'm back over here for the other half of our cauliflower head from the other night. And then breaking these down spoon size. Like even that one's a bit large. Still want cauliflower chunks, but small chunks. Hi, Cardall. Welcome, welcome. check out this easy video of home things you can do. You won't believe number 6. I think of those videos every time I hear this song. It's been a minute since I've seen one of those videos, though. But they used to be so pervasive on YouTube. Probably still are, I just don't get them. Oops. Turning this down just a touch. Well, that wasn't a touch flame. How low do we have to go to turn it down a touch? There we go. I'll wait a minute on adding the cauliflower. I want to get the potatoes a few more minutes. And I'm going to layer my tortilla in the meantime. Olive oil first thing in the pan here. Don't want anything sticking to the bottom. We'll start layering. Then we'll come in with some onions. More taters. Rinse, repeat. Not a whole lot. If I'm being 100% truthful, I was just looking for a different type of fish stew than fish stew. And it's been a minute since I've done something sort of winey, tomato-y. I like these types of soups, I just don't... They fall into the category of ones I don't make very often. Bit more onion. By the way, chat, I'm making this tortilla and serving it with dinner tonight. However, this is a dish that's... This dish is actually a traditional tapas dish. It is very commonly found in... I have not been to Spain, but from my understanding, it's very commonly found... I guess I'm AI. It's very commonly found room temperature or even cold in bars. But the most likely thing to make it Portuguese would be actually the next ingredient that I should have thrown in there actually before the potatoes. These bad boys. Saffron threads. Oh, there's one left in there. Definitely gotta get in there. That in there. Welcome in, Justice Rice. We want potatoes to be our sort of top layer here, and so I'm going to go a little heavier with the onion here. Figuring I only really got 2 more layers of potato here, I think. Separate already, taters. Last of our onions. That is all she wrote. I'm gonna eat this onion now. Yum yum. Paprika and pepper. And semi-cooked onion. Alright, let's add our cauliflower into the soup. Bay leaf going in there. This is going to need some more salt after that potato and cauliflower. Those eggs are whipped. Bit more of this stuff. That being paprika. And I am adding a little garlic powder. Let's see if we can turn this black, chat. Do a pinch of smoked salt in there. Let's see if I just ruined the appearance of this dish. What do we think, chat? I'm thinking it's still going to be delicious regardless, but it might not be as pretty now. I'm surprised. Usually it does a bit more damage than that. That didn't do much at all. I don't know if that's enough egg. I think I might add another egg in there. I went for the low end on eggs. Could probably even do one more if I wanted to, but I think we're going to stay there. So now we're going to pour that all over this. And this is going back down in the oven. The other way that I'm sort of breaking this recipe is I think the potatoes and onions are traditionally cooked a bit more before we get to this point than I did, since I baked them. This is almost going to be a little bit more like a frittata than an omelet to me. We're going to throw this in the oven at 350 as well. I somewhat get the impression that this is a dish that's actually probably is a little bit closer to a true traditional omelet, in that the onions and like every time that I see this as a dish, it's always perfectly layered, always just nice pie shape that they're cutting slices of. And it just doesn't fit in the same thing as all of these recipes I'm reading, where it's essentially you're cooking them until it's almost mush and then stacking it into a hot pan with some eggs. I'm questioning my life decisions, chat. No, actually, I have been, but oh, hey, that's probably a little bit better of a view for chat, huh? My bad. Put a 15-minute timer on the stove. We're almost getting to the point where I have to cut some fish. Gotta remember to ask the store when I go in tomorrow, because I'm gonna have to go to the store I have to pick up something for tomorrow's dinner. And I think the store that I'm going to tomorrow probably has the best bet for me to be able to pick up some bones, even though I don't have ginormous hopes. We're gonna see. I have a feeling it's going to be, if you're here at the right time, then sure. Because I'm sure they would love to make the money off of me, but I doubt they want to bother and save them. This turned out a little more chunky than I expected it to be tonight. I don't really want to, I could make it less chunky, but, I don't really need that much more food. Even though it's liquid. Which is going to happen first, chat? Am I going to run out of wine, or is food going to be ready? Ha! Anyone watching this stream knows I'm never done whining. Sticking to the diaper. Fish diaper, chat. I think that's the first on stream. I'm just cutting it in half, just right off. I mean, I know I did that the other night when I was frying it. It's not my normal plan of action with fish. But since we're pretty much just going to be dicing this, I'm going to dice it a bit larger where it's thinnest and a bit closer as we get thicker. Cut skin. Ooh, nice one. So there we have our codfish cut up for our stew. I look at the color of this dish, and this is something that happens to me a lot of the time with these tomato, garlicky, delicious Mediterranean almost. I know we're not in Portugal's not Mediterranean, but at least Southern European maybe. And I forget where I was going with it. Oh, I always look at these rich red broths, and I'm like, I want to add spice, or I expect them to be spicy, and they aren't. They're delicious, but they're not really what I expect or what I try to make when I do them a lot of the time. Like, I so want to throw some red hot peppers into this. This dinner tonight, this dish tonight is making me want to do something along this line with pasta too. It's been a minute since I've toyed with some mussels. Like, I got all the seafood that's staring me in the face now at Costco, and it's not even really, like, compared to the supermarkets, it's ridiculously cheap, but it's all way too, like, I had to turn this into 2 dinners. Thank you for the follow. I want to give this tortilla at least the 15 minutes that I planned for it here as far as time. So, yeah. Got another 3.5 minutes on that, and we'll take a look at that. And I'm waiting until, like, essentially, I'm going to cook this up until the time I'm going to serve it, put the fish on it, stir the fish in, and then turn off the heat. Like, I'm going to almost entirely carry over cook this fish. Doing all right tonight. I'm getting better. Been a peaceful but not very productive last couple of days. Been working, been doing stuff, but sort of feel like I've been spinning my wheels and not accomplishing much. Sort of like I was saying earlier today, I went to give sort of like a midday update to Discord to what I've been up to, and like I was like, yeah, that's not very, you've said that like 20 times. Why are you repeating yourself? Pull this off the cutting board and set up some room to show off our sort of Spanish tortilla that I turned into a frittata, I think. That is true. Of course, I don't really ever think of myself as operating on, like, I feel like I've always sort of operated on restaurant hours. Like, it's been a minute since I've been working in a restaurant because I had my own business doing stuff at the farmers markets, and before that I was doing restaurants. But, like, even then it's sort of like restaurant industry hours are, you know, Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday. If you're lucky, if you're one of the guys that gets the good schedule. Here's the other household tips YouTube video song. That needs a little bit longer. I think we're actually going to give that another 10 minutes. We still had liquefied egg in there, so it still needs. So I think I'm going to do a short AFK here, and we'll come back in a little less than 10 minutes. I think it's gonna play the infomercial dude again. I'll see all you folks in a couple minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's two curls out of the one potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. 'Pon my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you started to eat 'em. Now, the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato, and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a big piece like that. Now, the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the champeen vegetable mincing knife and noodle cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips, 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Why, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here is a tool, ladies, if you ever do get it, you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow, a roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water, why around canning season when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal.
Welcome back, Raider. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for that raid. Dana's Kitchen, welcome in, everyone. Happy to see you. Happy Sunday to you all. Let me get some music going back here. Thank you for sharing your community with us. I'm working on a Portuguese stew tonight, or soup. We've got most of the way done there. Let's take a look here and see what we got going on with our Spanish tortilla that I'm cooking along with this. We're getting close on that. I want to get a little more color on the top of that. But for anyone unfamiliar, hello, I'm Jason, Chef JT. I cook 4 nights a week here on Twitch. Have been doing so for over 5 years now. Well, been streaming over 5 years. And so yeah. I try all sorts of different stuff. I try to never really repeat what I'm doing. I mean, I did fish and chips last stream, and I've done fish and chips a couple of times, but I try and change things up a little bit. Like, I changed up the batter this time. Average 2.5 to 3 hour streams. Start at 4:30 Pacific. So we've got the base to our fish stew here. We've got tomatoes, onions, saffron, potatoes, and cauliflower stewing away with some fish stock, a little dash of fish sauce. I'm not typically a fish guy. I don't typically do fish foods. Not much of a pescatarian. But I've been doing a little bit more lately. I've been doing a lot more soups lately, too. Actually doing soup again tomorrow because we're in the middle of split pea soup week. And so I'm going to be making split pea soup here tomorrow along with some crusty bread to go with it. I've also been using more cauliflower than I must be getting old. Like, cauliflower's entering my diet. This is not an indicator whatsoever. But for anyone new in here, I live in Sonoma County, currently. And I've been cooking all my life. I'm a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America over 20 years ago. And, well, around 20 years ago. And been working in restaurants, all sorts of different types of food businesses. And most recently was running my own food business out of a mobile trailer mobile food kitchen in a trailer at farmers markets here in Sonoma County. That proved to not be, like, I've gone over it several times, like, the idea that I really couldn't pay people a living wage to work for me, and, like, it just didn't work. Like, and so now I'm doing this loveliness and hanging out with all you lovelies. Dad joke, you said that joke earlier. I don't know if it was in Twitch, but you said that joke earlier. Because Dad joke says stuff in Twitch and YouTube. And if you want to see any of my past streams, they're all available on YouTube for free. Whereas Twitch doesn't seem to really like VODs, and I've sort of acted in turn in the same way. So if you want to watch my VODs on Twitch, I've got them set to subscribers versus on YouTube where they're free. We are going a little bit longer on this stew. I'm giving the Spanish tortilla that I created down below a bit longer. Actually, I should take a look at that because I changed how I'm cooking it. Yep. Good call. Because it is getting dark. Why aren't you following me, camera? What are you so interested in, camera, that you're not following me? Get over here. Sure. Yeah, Twitch only keeps... I don't think they even do it for that, for associates. I thought I had a button for that, but... So I'm now going to add the fish into our stew, or soup, or stew. I also said earlier, this has turned out to be a bit thicker than I think this is traditionally for this soup, but I don't need more food. I don't need more soup to go through. And so I'm not adding more liquid to this at this time. I'm going to say that the burntness on that tortilla is not desired. However, I'm not turned off by it at the same time because it's not excessive. It's not a lot. And bitterness can be good, especially let's see if this is working tonight. Yep, it's working because it's timed out. Cool. And I am going to do minimal cook on this fish. We just basically want it in here long enough that it cooks through. I was saying earlier I was basically going to throw it in and turn it off, but I think I'm going to give it a little longer than that. Let that come up back to heat with it in there, I guess. Thank you, Claire. I used a little Gewürztraminer in tonight's soup, so we're drinking that as well. This is actually, I think, going to be the last of it here. Yeah, gonna over pour, but finish off the bottle at the same time. For those just joining in, it's not a fancy bottle of wine. I generally drink supermarket wines. I don't necessarily drink cheap supermarket wines, but I generally drink supermarket wines. Even though I live in Sonoma County, which wine world. I have not enjoyed how busy Sonoma has gotten, and I did not enjoy this past summer. This past summer it was like 90 degrees nonstop. It was not my San Francisco's foggy 70. And so I'm like, I'm really tempted. Okay, I think we're there with our fish at this point. I think we've gotten at least our initial chill off of all of it. Yeah, some of it's even starting to flake up, so we're going to turn the heat off and the flame there and just allow this to carry over cook, because we don't need to serve this at boiling temp. Let's see how this works or doesn't work. This could be disastrous, chat, but it's already not pretty, so we're gonna see what I can get. Nope, it's sticking. I'm guessing it's not actually stuck. My cast iron doesn't stick like that. Cast iron doesn't work that way. I think it's more of a suction seal. And see, I can use metal utensils with my cast iron and not worry that, oh, it's got a Teflon surface, I can't scratch that. Yeah, it's late in the UK. And thank you for joining in. We're sort of perfect for the bar crowd here in the UK. Yeah, that didn't work either. We're sticking with it on this side. Where'd my music go? Yeah, my earbud gets quiet. I bumped my earbud during stream. There's no way to disable earbud controls. And so, yeah, it's at 50%. Again, this is a dish traditionally served room temperature, cooled down entirely. Not the way that I am doing this tonight. So this is a layer of peeled Idaho russets and onion with egg and seasoning. I'll throw that in the corner there. And we're going to add some stew to that. Again, not how Spanish tortilla is served, but I'm gonna skip the bay leaf there. And then I got it anyways. Get a couple photos in here. Yeah, let's just grab a clean knife. I have my name engraved in my knives, so if anyone's curious why I'm putting my knife all close to the dinner, it saves me doing like watermarks or whatever. My name's in there. I think I'm going to skip a photo of that. I think we're just going to go with this for tonight. I think this is going to be amazing in flavor. Maybe ugly delicious. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much it. I think that's going to be where we're gonna call it a wrap for tonight. I'm on my last kind of... Maybe the wine's working a little better than intended, but I'm on my last glass of wine already, so... It's probably time. Greatly appreciate the raid. Thank you for joining in with us, Dana's Kitchen. As always, photos will be up in my Discord in a little bit, whenever I get around to doing that. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be back here, 4:30 Pacific as usual. Going to be doing split pea soup with a ham hock. Going to be making some crusty bread from scratch. Going to be back here also on Wednesday. We got the ingredient challenge on Wednesdays here. Chat votes every week. I set up a vote in chat, in Discord chat every week, and they can vote on some ingredient that I have to use, sweet and savory. And so Wednesday, we're looking like it's probably going to be chipped beef, like dried chipped beef. But it also could be hazelnuts. So if you join in, you can have a vote. There's a channel there, weekly dinner vote. If you'd like to suggest an ingredient I have to use on a Wednesday, that's in the ingredient suggestions channel just below. I had fun making tonight's dinner. Soup turned out a little more chunky than intended. Spanish tortilla ended up a little more toasty than intended, but I think it definitely cooked through nicely. It cut nicely when I cut it. I think it's going to be delicious. I mean, you saw the spice when I made it. I hope you all have an amazing evening. Let's see, do we have anyone out here on Twitch tonight? I am not an avid raider, but since we got raided, it's essentially going to be a normal bread, but I'm going for, well, 2 to 3 hour streams, so I'm rushing it in most cases when I'm making bread, but I do make bread pretty oftenly. Rolls, bread. I make my own buns for sandwiches and stuff like that. But I'm normally pushing the time on that a little bit. And so I'm saying crispy bread, but crispy bread is probably something best done with a longer term ferment. And I won't be doing that. But we're shooting for crispy bread. But I'm going to leave it right here, folks. I hope you all have an amazing evening. I will be back here tomorrow. Good night.